Hello everyone and welcome to the stream. This is Otaku Showboat and today we are going to be returning to the Angels and Bobs and Space Extension mod playthrough. Oh boy, so I will need to note a couple of things to start off. Primarily that Nanobots was updated over the weekend, as I was expecting, so that works fine now without any errors in game. And I fixed my local copy of Longreach. So the Longreach research upgrade, this one right here, is technically still not updated and is incompatible with the current version of the game because it references the Mark II power armor of all things, and that reference changed. That tech changed in the code with 1736, the 1736 update. So I went in and I've changed the name of the tech that it was referencing in one file. Someone actually had the forethought to post the request onto the mod portal, which you can't see because I am not doing window capture, but at the moment. They say, please fix for 0.35, because that's when it broke, was 0.35, and we are now on 0.36. They actually put down saying, please fix, and yet they point out exactly what the problem is. So it's to rename the tech on a specific line 205 in the technology.lua file in the mod. So if you want to fix this for yourself, if you're using this mod, go to your mod folder, which should be in your app data roaming Factorio. So you're in your user account in Windows, in app data roaming Factorio mods, there'll be a whole bunch of zip files, archives of your mods that you're running. Make sure the game is closed, open up the archive, edit the file, save the archive with the edit to the file, but change on line 205 the power-armor-2 to power-armor-mk2. And it fixes it completely. And then apparently 2 hours ago, there's a response saying, thanks for telling how to fix this. I fixed my version so I can use it in my game. Yes, that's probably going to be how most people do it until the someone picks up this mod to continue maintaining it. So, after all of that, how about we actually start our game? So, stream save 3 from day 3. One thing I want to note that I will probably talk a little bit about today is this little playthrough that I started up on my own over the weekend. This, yeah, this mod list is rather extensive, and it's actually been quite fun. And the amount of synergies and overlap that actually makes things a little bit easier is a little bit crazy. So what this is a playthrough using angels and bobs that we're doing now, as well as AAI and Pyanodons. And it's all set to play somewhat nicely together thanks to another mod. If I can find it on this list. And it should be one of the disabled ones. Where is it? I think it's... Huh. Ah, here. Here it is. It's called Pie Coal Touched by an Angel. That's the name of the compatibility mod to get Pyanodons mods and Angels Bobs and AAI all playing compatibly together. And the goal of this Touched by an Angel is to fix any time where you might need a material to make a machine that makes that material. So any like breaking balance issues that compatibility mod fixes, and it attempts to smooth out the overlaps, but there's still a fair bit of overlap. And I'll talk a bit about that once we are going. I'm just going to adjust my mic position a little bit. All right. So some things changed on tech names, but otherwise we are exactly the same. The first thing I want to do today, because I actually came in slightly prepared, is I'm going to make an inline tank with what steel we have. And what this is going to do for us is I will be able to get rid of this crap, and I will just stick the inline tank down, and this will hold significantly more than a single pipe. This will hold 20,000 units of hydrogen, and if I come back and I see it's full, just pick it up, put it back down again. I can wait a lot longer. So that takes care of the steel production. Now, I guess I may as well talk about it. So, what's so special about that mod set that I was running? I will refer to it as the unholy combination of overhauls. So Bobs and Angels, we've seen thus far what Bobs and Angels does. It pretty much overhauls resource extraction and refinement and overall production of specific items, adds items, makes things a little bit more realistic. AAI overhauls the it overhauls the early game. So the whole burner phase of the game, it completely overhauls it, adds it as its own actual phase of the game, similar to the rest of the game. And you get things like burner assembly machines and burner science labs with it. And then there's also a whole set of vehicles and you have the ability to automate vehicles to do resource extraction and logistics using these vehicles, which is pretty awesome. As long as it's working. And then there is Pyanodons, and Pyanodons is... Oh boy, so... It is a complete and total overhaul of the game. How many of these do I want? This is going to be a line of resin. Okay, I don't have enough of those, clearly. Resin. And, if you thought Angels and Bobs was complex, Pyanodons is 20 times that. I've seen Angels and Bobs together described as multi-dimensional chess compared to the base game. This is Pyanodons is significantly more. It's just more, and it's more realistic as well in terms of the processes that it introduces. Yet it's also quite creative, and I happen to quite enjoy its bioprocessing that it adds. So and let's just say, what we're doing right now to make... Actually going to... That's 1, 2, 3, 4. I guess it won't necessarily matter which way this goes. It's just a lot. It's a lot. A lot. This is the wrong way. Of steps and things to make. Why am I even doing 2 at a time? I don't need 2 at a time. This is resin. Resin is a slow process, so I only need the 1. Also not making any... Or I don't have the ability to make faster inserters. Alright. So now I'm going to be a little bit off as well because of the vanilla stream playthrough. Oh boy. Which I will be continuing, by the way, on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So today is the Bob's Angels Space Extension modded playthrough. And tomorrow will be vanilla again. And just maybe I might start up a playthrough with Pyanodon Angel AAI Space Extension. Oh boy. That series of overhauls just... It's a lot. And it just compounds on the complexity of things, because AAI, the industries, I think part of it, adds motors as a requirement to stuff. Motors and electric motors, and then you get Pyanodons, which adds in these things called small parts that get added to the early stuff, and those are made out of gears and out of a new thing called bolts and iron rods. So you get all these little things called small parts that are really significantly better compression compared to steel plates and compared to gear wheels and are worth bussing because of that. And they end up being used in your belt production primarily and in a lot of other early items. So it's really neat, but it also something about it changes the yellow belt production so that the splitters require yellow belts and the basic splitter. So yeah, it ends up, and then because the yellow belts only produce one at a time, the priority of between the chest and the assembling machine, that's not good, is that the chest will get all of the belts before the assembling machine. Oh boy. Power. Power! Oh no! Issues with power! Where's the coal? Let me grab some coal. We have issues with power. Why do we have issues with power? Why is my power way up here? Way up here, wow. Is it way up here? Yes, it's right there. Make me run faster, please. I'm carrying around 3K units of this stuff. I may as well paint the ground with it. So, why were you not getting enough coal? It might be just that I need to prioritize right. And I might also just place more miners down. And then, of course, I think I am mining infinite coal as well, which also presents its own set of issues because of the... Alright, well... Alright, so they are all currently producing full 100%. Really? What is going on? Gonna do some upgrades, I think. I'm gonna have to grab all of my steel that I'm producing. Wow, you just tore through all of that. And it's taking wood instead of coal. What do I want? Oh yeah, and Pyanodons is also significantly more complex science production. And don't even get me started on circuit ones. It took me the whole weekend to get through and start producing the circuit ones, which we're about to be doing the equivalent, the basic electronic boards. Probably want that. I probably want that. Here comes additional coal. Yeah, we are close to our cap. Alright, so this is a... These are burner inserters, too, so it's like, why? You are... That's why. So you are draining faster than the inserter can insert. So that would explain our issues. So inserters are inserting not sufficiently fast enough. So unfortunately, these burners will need to go. And they're also, you know, consuming our coal production, and it looks like, yeah, we just don't have enough coal as well coming in. And it doesn't help that this distance is so great. Yeah, so we're gonna have a little bit there of nothingness. Let's try and add more. Hello. More! Get even faster, please. Okay. That will ideally help significantly. And looking at the compression comparison, yes, it should. Now I shall probably start the process of upgrading these things to the Mark IIs, I guess? Because we need more capacity. And then this is all good now. I think this is all good now. Yes. This should be fine. And back up. Then it should back up all the way to start feeding that again, which this is our smelting line, so yeah. Clearly, we were smelting more than what our miners could produce for us while also feeding the power, so let's make sure the power is prioritized now. That would be great. Next up is give me all the steel you have produced thus far, so I can make some more steam engines out of it. Now, the way I'm going to do this is that it's going to be primarily upgrading what we already have. So I'm currently carrying around a whole bunch of those Mark I boilers. They're going to be converted straight into the Mark IIs. Same for the steam engines, though they'll be produced 2 at a time until I am out of steel. And that will double our current capacity for power, because the Mark IIs can make twice the amount of energy per steam engine compared to the Mark Is. And apparently there's just not enough steel. Okay. Fine. Well, there's no real point to putting down the Mark II boilers then. And you don't even have steam engines. Alright, well then. There's your stuff and things. Now how we looking? Quite a bit better. and we are backing up on the coal, and eventually it'll start spilling down here on this inside lane. Excellent. Now that that's taken care of... Wow, I am carrying around a lot of those splitters. Next one. More handcrafting speed. Yes, more. Take the long hike back down. That's one of the nice synergies, actually, with Pyanodons and Angels, is that it's very easy in the early game, relatively early game, I should say. Once, I think that you need circuit 1s, but I could be mistaken about that. Relatively early, you can make infinite power without the need for coal or any of that. Where am I putting resin? I usually put resin right here next to my the regular wood. Yeah, it has the ability to get infinite power through its own special resource, which are basically mushrooms. You can make mushrooms, and you can convert them to coal. And then with angels, you can use the electrolyzer to make hydrogen to fuel a powerhouse that will make a fluid that gets burned in a combustion turbine. Which, yeah, it's actually incredibly space efficient overall, I think. Outside of the space the electrolyzers take, and the way I did it was with purified water, so the purified water production takes. But yeah, it's actually quite convenient because it produces way more power than it takes to make the mushrooms. Okay, enough ranting and talking about that. It is time to start preparing and making our machines to make our basic electronic boards. I might begin with solder, though, which means I will need these guys. How many of these? Oh, God. I do not remember the ratios. And it's actually quite convenient that there's coal here. What are the ratios for this? Because it's tin and lead every 7 seconds, making 11 solder plates. How many does each of these? It needs 4 solder plates every 2 seconds on a craft speed of 1. 4 every 2, this is 11 every 7. So it's an inexact science because it's like just over 1.5 per second here, and this is exactly 2 per second. That it needs. So It's approximately 3 to 2. And then you need to feed in resin and poop out solder. And feed in tin and lead. Which... oh. Which I can actually just pop the lead in this way. Only need the one lane, though. This is gonna be how I do it, as ugly as it will seem. And this will be somewhat limited due to... oh, hey. More. Am I making red science? I think so. Just because it will only have really the one. Oh, and then there's that issue as well. But I think the real issue will be... no, 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 no. No, not like that. It's the same here, where I need in, out, out, L, L, N. Welcome, solder! Now the solder, by itself, will not be on our bus, because I will be completely removing this a little bit later. Once I get full-on metallurgy going and get strand casting going, I will be doing solder coils rather than making solder in this fashion. Now, there is a method of just making solder through metallurgy as this, but I prefer the far better, more compact usage of the belts through solder coils and then just uncoil them where they're needed. Now I can make basic no, I can't. I can't. One more thing. One more thing before we can make our stuff and things. Or is it 2 more things? It's 2 more things. Oh my goodness. Do I have enough coal? I might need to just make a bunch of mining drills. Head on back, because this is going to need a lot more coal. I need to produce carbon, and in the process we'll also make coke. But... oh, and then I will also need steam to make the carbon because of a recent change in Angel's mods. Fairly recent change. used to be that carbon required carbon dioxide plus coke to make carbon, and carbon dioxide has a recipe straight from coal, so it was basically, you were basically combining coke and coal to make carbon through that process. That's essentially how that would end up working out. Now it's steam plus coke to make carbon, which I think is overall a better recipe. Oh, these are not infinite. Now, do I even have... I don't have access to the medium poles. Why do I not have the medium poles? Just because I haven't gotten that tech yet? Here I am actually making the red science now, and don't even have the rather important text from it yet. Ugh. There. Die. Yeah, I figured as much that we'd run into issues just because of the range on this not extending to 3 of them. Oh, and then you don't... There's no infinite that side. There's some infinite here. How many can I squeeze in? That many, huh? Alright. I think I'd rather do this way. You are in the way. Now, unless this is completely saturated, there's no reason to run a second line. And we are just adding 6 ultimately here. Could add 2 more, but this is not. That one would be, those 2 would be okay. I want some semblance of evenness. Because as it stands, it comes out balanced between both lanes. Somewhat, I guess. Maybe. Maybe not. Maybe I should just balance it at some point. I can clearly see there's the transition as the 6 came online from here to here. Balanced! Better not be making another trip out here this stream. Better not need to. As a bunch more starts coming. Good. Good, good, good. Alright, let's make some coke and carbon. Usually I do this process on the main bus. There is an argument in doing it pre-bus. Because either way, I'm going to need both to where I'm doing metallurgy. Wherever I decide to do metallurgy, I will need coke and carbon to those locations because different processes in the Angel's smelting processes will require coke or carbon. But I have traditionally made it on the edge of the bus, so I may as well do that here. Now, what was I going to use this space for? I do not recall. It was probably extra space when expanding this crap outwards. Additional mall location. Ideally, I want to do this production before all this so I don't have to jump across it, but oh well. I'm gonna do it over here. I may as well have... Oh, and this is also going to need these. On iron. How many do I want? I'll crush 2 for now. That will feed 4 metal mixing furnaces. Then I will need a couple liquefiers. That should work just fine. And then I also already have the boilers for the steam. Now, do I want to pull up a second line of coal or just make use of this line? I think I'll make use of this line because this is all gonna go away at some point, so I may as well. Alright. Crushy crushy. Shouldn't do this here. This will make crushed coal. The furnaces will go on the opposite side. Now, with regular inserters, you actually need at least the 2. But as you can see on this side, it poses an issue. So what I tend to do is this. It's just arrange it so that I can do that from a right angle. At this phase of the game, when I don't have access to the diagonals through Bob's inserters, that's how I do that. And that should properly feed those furnaces. These furnaces make coke. Now, they operate craft speed of 1. They produce 2 coke per second. I will need to grab my liquefiers. Where's my liquefier? So that'll produce 2 lines of coke. I'll bring them down, merge them, split them, do other things to them over here. Or maybe here. I prefer doing this so that I can extend infinitely. So carbon, 2 coke per 2 seconds to make 3 carbon at a craft speed of 1.5 each. Ooh boy. So 1 and a half carbon per second. So these would be 3 per second. Each of these produces 2 per second. So yeah, that's 1.5 of our furnaces of our coke production going into carbon production. That should be okay. I would just need the source of steam. I just no. No, don't. Source of steam being a boiler. I shouldn't forget that I need coke in. And I need water. Okay, coke in will be here. And then that will be carbon out. The issue, of course, being power for all of this. And then give me bigger power poles so I don't have to do that anymore. Bigger power poles. Now I will just zip around. That should be even. Both carbon and coke will end up on the bus. And I guess I've broken my rule about not having buildings on this path. But it's gonna be replaced. Okay, that should start making coke. Now I just need to bring the water over, and I do hope I somewhere automated pipes. Please tell me I automated pipes somewhere. I don't think I automated pipes anywhere. I don't think I did it on this playthrough yet. You're not even being used. Oh, hello. Hello. That's a problem. I need some pipes, though. And I have at least I should have an abundance of copper. Oops. Need chests. Wire it up. Alright. They will make beautiful things for me. Hopefully. There we go. In the meantime, yeah, this isn't good. This, I think, is what happens when you use even distribution and aren't careful about it. Slash haven't sorted things properly. Slash haven't sorted things, period. Chlorine processing. Sure, we'll get that next. So, that's what happened here. I'm not actually sorting the crushed stone from the bobmonium. Whoops. So that can happen when you do a Shift-C like that. So now this will just back up a bit while it's processing those crushed stones. Now it'll stop the flow of the bobmonium until it chews through all of the crushed stone, but it won't contaminate the line like it did. Landfill, sure, why not? Sure, let's grab that. Now, what am I doing? I need water. Water is what I need, and I need a lot more underground than I've got. Alright, so water is available from here. Where and how am I going to run this? I should have essentially a bus section just for water, but like several lanes just for water, but eh. Okay. Washing 2 is rather important for later. Welcome to Carbon. Now, I'm probably not going to run the coke immediately on the bus. I mean, I think that might be quite clear that I'm not doing that. I'm also going to split here the carbon. Actually, that's an underground. Okay, I think it is about darn time to make our basic electronic boards. Now, first we need to make basic electronic components, and that is why I needed this stuff. Carbon. Basic electronic components require tinned copper wire. So, I think it's a 2-to-1, or is it a 1-to-1 on the tinned copper wire? Where is these guys? So it's 1 every 2. And then tinned copper wire, wherever the hell it is, there it is. It's, oh, 3 every half. That is a lot. That is a lot. One every 2. Half per second. 6 per second. So 1 of these feeds 6 of these. Interesting. Also, I now could make medium electric poles, which I will do. The question becomes, do I belt these? And then it's also they also need copper cables. It's 3 copper cables per half second. Copper cables, I think, is that's the 1-to-1 here. No, it's 2 per half second, because of course it is. 2 per half second to 3, so 3 of these to feed 2 of these. Well, I'm gonna have enough to feed 12 of these, so I'm just gonna put those on a line. That's copper in. Oh, I need more undergrounds. I need more undergrounds. Do I have a... I don't have engine production yet, which means I don't have a car yet. I have very insufficient iron plate production. I need more inserters. I actually have 2 thingies making inserters. Okay. Planning for the future, I suppose. I want all of this. I want all of that. And I want all of that. And I want to shove these inferior components back. Highly inferior components back. Going to need to run copper over. I am apparently not being very... I'm not space efficient today. In any way, shape, or form. On my bus. I'm going to be needing a ton of those. I cannot wait for the belt immunity item upgrade. Power armor add-on. Really looking forward to that. Okay. Carbon in. If I am not too terribly mistaken, 5 per second, 5 per 2 seconds. It is 2 to 1 on this. Thank God for medium power poles. They are the savior. Then it's just that. And I can expand this up to 12. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, right. I'm slightly a dunce, but I do need to have, you know, tin in. This is another one of those circumstances where this gets replaced with tinned wire coils later on, and that's what gets moved around on the bus and then uncoiled by one machine where you need it. So yet another circumstance of hacking things. So this is what I'm going to do on this front. I got some tech just now. Process the oil for me, that would be great. This will be a terrible position for you. This way. Let there be lights. Let there be... Hate when I do that. One tile off. And then I need the solder in. Oops, and I need the basic circuit boards in. So let's actually do that this way. Our first basic electronic boards. Oh boy. Doesn't it feel good that moment you make your first true circuits? It feels really good because with these, everything changes. Now that we have our BEBs, everything changes. Because BEBs allow for the production of so much. So many things need BEBs. Including the upgraded assembling machine too, but let's not consider the upgrades of things at this point, because I need to consider the increased the processes that have increased efficiency over the processes I'm currently running. So, what do those entail? So my plans ended with the production of BEBs at the moment. Now I am free to go about whatever. I can do washing, because I'll need clay bricks as well. But those are mostly for Mark II crap. Flare stacks! So. Heading over here. Finally, the moment we have all been waiting for. Goodbye, hydrogen. You are no longer... You have never been welcome here. Now get out. Welcome to automated steel. It is about dang time. And of course I'm running steel on the bus. This is on... This shouldn't even exist, for one. Yeah, because of that there, I needed to jump. Okay. So glad I've got the basic electronic boards now. Because I can do chem plants and flare stacks, and we can do petrochemical stuff now. Oh boy. I have an alternative source of oxygen through air. Straight up air, rather than needing water for it. And I can actually eliminate the nitrogen that comes with it. Ooh, fluid handling, that would be nice. That would be very nice. Barrels! Okay. Now. I need more of the everything. Yes. Particularly iron. More iron. My plan was... Oh, I can also make the better mining drills, too. That's right. That's right. I can make the better mining drills now. Tell you what, during the lunch break today, there's going to be a lot of scheming. A lot of scheming during the break. Which will be in about 17 minutes from now. Oh, just give me all of this steel and all of the iron. So I can at least start handcrafting some things. I can already make Mark II pump jacks. Oh, and give me all of the BEBs. All of them, please. Just having a gander over what I can make right now, thinking about what I need right now. I'm pretty sure it is officially time to get the metallurgy done. Get all of the smelting and casting done. Am I capable of doing that right now? The way I want to do it? No. Because I don't have slag processing yet. I can set up the metallurgy process just fine. In fact, I think I might be carrying around a blast furnace, 2 inductions, and I need 6 casting machines. Yeah, please don't tell me it's locked behind a blue tech. What I'm looking for. You. I need you. Mineral catalysts and crystallizers and filtration units. Yes, that is what I need. So now I have to think about Oh boy, now where am I going to start my smelting lines? Where am I going to make my slag, basically? Because essentially it'll be this multiplied by a lot. Okay? That's going to be how we get our catalysts, because it'll be this times a ton. And this very specific type of processing too. It will involve liquefiers. I generally do this with loaders. I'm going to need a bunch of electrolyzers. And I'll need filtration units and crystallizers for all this stuff. So I will be... Where do I want to do this? That is always the question, I suppose. Where do I have... Alright, so I do have water that I can use. I've brought down water already that I'm using for all of this, so I may as well just use the rest of it, I suppose. And then... So I have to decide where I want the mineral catalyst production. I know I'm doing this here for the oxygen, but I want an actual place. I suppose all of this is being deleted anyway. So I guess if I set up properly here, exactly how I want to tile these, it would be fine. And the whole purpose, the entire purpose of these electrolyzers is to make slag. And this slag will not be crushed into crushed stone, because it will be liquidized. But we need to get this slag processing going first. So it will be made into slag slurry. Now we can use either slag or crushed stone. Oh right. That's right. It requires sulfuric acid. That's the other part to this, is it requires the sulfuric acid. So I'll get you tiled up again back the way, or I'll get you hooked up again back the way you were, but in a better operating position. And this just gets burned. Die. For now, it'll be crushed and converted into stone. That's how we've currently dealt with slag, but and how we've dealt with crushed stone. But now we have the option to, instead of turning our crushed stone into stone, we can turn our crushed stone and our slag into a slurry that we will filter into mineral slurry that we will then crystallize into mineral catalysts that will be used to produce iron ore, singular, out of crushed gibbelite and crushed sapphirite, or crushed, or into copper ore by crushed steatite and crushed critinium, I think is the other one I need for that. Yeah, these two down there. They will need the catalysts. The catalysts are an item. The various slurries are liquid, so always have to be thinking about the liquid BS. Now, how does one kickstart their sulfuric acid production? Well, good question. I believe this involves actual chemical plants, and I am uncertain if I have the specific technology for it. Do I have it? It's... I probably don't have it. But there is a clean... This one. This one. This is the tech that I need. And it is not a blue science. I just need gas processing and advanced chemistry to get to it. So that'll be what we start working towards next, because I'm going to need those techs. And I'm pretty sure I don't need the full advanced plants to do it, but what this will do is it will allow me to make sulfur water, basically. Sulfuric waste water that I can treat in a water treatment hydro plant. So I can do this one, the sulfuric wastewater purification. That will give me mineralized water that I can just eliminate completely because I have no purpose for it right now. And I likely won't really have much of a purpose for it going into the future outside of if I were to ever want to convert crystal it's not crystal slurry, it's whatever the first one is actually named. It would be, instead of making a crystal slurry that can make crystal catalysts, it would be used to make the mineral slurry instead. In fact, that's another way of producing the mineral catalyst that I might end up doing. But I want to do it that way. Am I able to do it that way? At the start, no, I am not. I would need a blue tech to do it this way. So this would take crystal slurry and a mineralized water to make sulfuric wastewater and the mineral sludge. That is a process to make the mineral sludge from the crystal slurry. It's crystal slurry to crystal sludge, if I'm not mistaken, and then it's into the crystal catalyst. So this makes sulfur as well. I can clarify with a clarifier now, and I can use the purified water for other purposes, such as turning it into oxygen and hydrogen. Ooh. Without the slag. But then again, what's the point if you don't have the slag? I'm probably going to be clarifying the purified water as well. That being said, I have checked, and the pump here, this thing, I do not have access to the recipes. So that setting is, by default, off, and you don't get the ability to actually use these pumps with bobs. So we are not, quote-unquote, cheating with sources of infinite water and having to not pipe it in. So this will make sulfur, and then you plop down. I'm just gonna start sticking these guys onto the hotbar. So you get your sulfur from these, you get sulfur dioxide from sulfur and oxygen, which, remember that this produces purified water that you can purify in an electrolyzer to make the oxygen, or at least some of the oxygen, to feed into this. So this will, it's 60 every 2, and then this is 40 every 4. So yeah, it doesn't feed it completely. And of course, this is 100 water every 4 seconds. This is 70 water per second. So you probably want to have a couple of those. And you have to deal with the hydrogen, and of course, then this feeds into sulfuric acid, which is the oh, right. That's the other thing. We're doing progalina. We're crushing progalina, so we have calcium sulfate. So we can use the calcium sulfate and purified water to make sulfur dioxide, and we can then use that to make sulfuric acid. Oh, that's excellent. And then this entire process will be done then near our progalina area, because I'm going to have to pipe that down, and it is officially 12:30. So with that realization that, oh hey, I don't have to do any coke stuff at all, and here I am, like, not going the path that I said I was going to take because I need gas processing and advanced chemistry 1 to get to coal processing 2. But since I have the access to the progalina and I'm stockpiling, yeah, up here I'm stockpiling calcium sulfate, I can use this stuff to make the sulfuric acid that I desperately need to make the slurry, the slag slurry, that will filter through filtration unit, which will need clay bricks to make the machines. Okay, well, our path is now set then. Seafloor pump and bunch of washing plants. Okay. That's what we're gonna do when I get back with, well, get back and eat my lunch. Until then, thank you for watching. I will be taking a break. And, yeah, I'll be back with my lunch and schemes will commence while I eat, and then we shall continue at approximately the turn of the hour. Hello, everyone. I am back from the break. And I was just going over all of the wonderful things. That nitric acid requirement is a pain in the butt. So, step 1 is I want sulfuric acid, and I can get sulfuric acid, so I'm going to get sulfuric acid. And I'm going to get it right here with my chemical plants. Now, the question is, what is the consumption versus the rate of production of the calcium sulfate? This will also give me lime that I currently do not have a use for. But hey, I have the ability to make more with more steel, but I can shove things into chests just fine. What do I want next? That's one thing I didn't really establish here, because I established that I didn't really need the coal processing, but I guess I should, because I'm going to assume that what I'm mining here, this is going to be backed up at some point, I would imagine. I mean, I could just expand that a little. Get one of those for the leftovers. Also, what am I doing? I can use medium poles now. This will require purified water in. Well, I will actually be needing purified water anyway. So I will go ahead. Oh, I apparently had a whole bunch of pumps already in my inventory. I'll go ahead and dye tree. Plop that on down. Now this is regular water, this is not purified water. I will need to purify the water. And to do so, I will use a hydro plant. And I will be needing a clarifier. And, oh, I have a clarifier. This will be doing that. I need more pipe to grounds. Oddly enough, this will also be needing purified water to produce sulfuric acid. Now it's 90 sulfur dioxide every 2. This produces 50 every 2. So it won't exactly be even. That will be good enough. This should not be acceptable. This is ugly. This is less ugly. Then I can bring the water in there, and then this will be the sulfur out. That is so much better. Yeah, that will be so much better. Oh, and then I have a purpose for... Where is it? Where is it? Please tell me There. I have a purpose for my small inline tank. Alright, so my copper doodads should be right over here. Oh, and the reason I'm not concerned about any of this way up here, taking up space behind the bus here, is because this stuff won't be growing particularly much. I won't be, like, adding additional lines of this anytime soon. Plus, that I'll be grabbing these gas wells at some point, I would imagine, as well. So, and there's multi-phase oil here as on top of that. So, this area behind is sort of been claimed by other things anyway. So if I'm going to increase my production of these sciences, if I need to increase my production of these sciences, it would be done elsewhere. But the production will increase over time as we increase the tier of the buildings for production. So give me undergrounds. Alright, let's get that water piped in to where it needs to be piped in. Also, this makes a small amount of saline water. That's what will be clarified here directly. I have no use for this waste saline water at the moment. I will later on have the option to pipe it into an actual place where I will have production of it, but for now, I'm going to do it this way. I have no need for it, and it's a heck of a lot easier not piping it in to where I will actually be making saline water, because I will have real saline water production later on. Wow, that actually makes a lot of lime. Holy crap, that makes a lot of lime. We have sulfuric acid. Isn't it lovely? Humble beginnings on the sulfuric acid. This is just to, kill off the items from there. We will have better production of that stuff. Now, washing. Next step is washing. What do I want for this? And by what do I want, I mean, do I want to do this here on site, or do I want to do this on the bus? Like, pipe the seafloor pumps output down. Actually make a section for pipes. Pipe it across and start doing my washing stuff like right here. Because I will have coal and coke and carbon going, and I'll be able to feed it for the proper production. I think I've convinced myself to do it this way. Yeah, I think I've convinced myself to do it this way. I will need more than just this one seafloor pump, by the way. I will be needing more. Oh, that's so unfortunate. That is so unfortunate. Now, what's the... Hey, various new sets of processing. Okay, so the way this is gonna work... I'm going to now mark off I'll have this for now. For now, it will be fine. Now, and then every single fluid that I run here will go up to there, so that I know which lines are in use and which ones are not. Now, you'll notice I just made 6, but I will need significantly more than 6. I am just making the 6 because that's the next set of 6 on the bus. But this bus is going to be a lot bigger than this. This is not the terminal side of our bus. Oh, no, 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 no. No, 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 no. No, no, this is probably not even going to be the middle of our bus. So let's make that perfectly clear right off the bat. I make big buses. As one very specific song comes to mind. Ahem. Oh, how convenient. Not convenient, but I will, deal with it. Hey, how about I, start this process of painting. Painting with stone. Or shall we say, continuing to paint with stone. Gotta love the 30% speed boost. All the time. Alright, I'm here for underground pipes. Give me pipes. All of the pipes must be in my inventory, thank you. All of them. Even an extra stack of those. Hello, give me... For the record, this is an incredible sink for carbon and steel, and I do not find it worth it to use these new processes, but it will be required for this stuff. Now this tech right here. So this recipe in particular. I modded this. I changed this. By default, unless it has been changed recently, this is 5 units of solution per craft. 5 solution per craft. Every other solution of liquid or gas in the game is 50. Sometimes it produces 30, like the sodium cyanide, or 25 even, I think, in some cases. Never single digits. So I modded it, I changed it to 50 because the thing that needs it needs 50. So when you're making there are other processes that need it. Yeah, there are processes that need the sodium hydroxide solution, and every single process that needs sodium hydroxide solution needs 50 units per craft, so I just set it to 50. I said screw it, set it to 50. It also, by default, does not have a clarifier void recipe, so I went ahead and added that too to my personal copy of the mod. Unfortunately, due to the license of the mod itself, I cannot release it. I cannot release my changes. I can tell you how I made the changes, but I cannot release the changes as an update. Maybe at some point, with the next update that Angel makes, it will be rectified, but as far as I'm concerned, it is a typo that it is 5, and it is not intended. And Angel has yet to say whether or not it's intended. And when I reported that I thought it wasn't intended, someone else piped in and said, yeah, this doesn't seem right. I also don't think this was intended, but we shall see. Washing is next. How many machines do we have currently? 8. I will have to make do with 8. Dang it, I also need regular water. So that's the one thing I always forget. I hate these machines. For the record, I do not enjoy these machines for washing because, ugh, they're awful. They are just awful machines. So I will need that many. Do I need thin? Yes, I need thin. Of course I need thin. Then I need that machine for sand. I need machine here for limestone. And this is the clay. So, can you see why I don't really care for these machines? I can see why I don't really care for these machines much. Care for / like these machines much. Now, this, to me, this is looks rather weird and sloppy, but the reality is when you start separating out the individual steps to the processes, like, for example, if I were to actually do this at ratio to make clay and to make limestone and to make sand separately with separate lines of washing plants, it would probably look a lot nicer, but I would be so incredibly swamped with the amount of clay bricks that I end up getting from it that it won't even be used. The machines won't even be running the majority of the time, and the only lines, like the whole line to make the clay, it would be otherwise useless. Only the line making the line making the limestone and lime would be useful, and I will actually have a line doing just that. But the sand would be producing significantly too much sand for what we will be needing it for. Significantly. And it will also be sitting around doing basically nothing for the majority of the time, because as you can see here, assuming there's nothing else skimming off fluid in this whole process when you make sand, 5 seconds, 10 units of thin mud water. 5 seconds, 200 units of thin mud water. So if you actually want to use all of your thin mud water, you need 20 machines making sand, each making 1 sand per second, 20 units of sand per second on a full line of washers making sand, and you would need 24 machines to do so. What is sand used for? Sand, you can do sluicing thanks to the Mad Clowns extensions to have a chance at getting various products, and it gives you back mud, some thin mud water to make more sand again. Gee, thanks for that circular process. You can use it in some processes with bioprocessing. This is what it's mainly used for. Clay bricks and glass. And advanced, highly advanced concrete. And Mad Clowns adds this white phosphorus smelting to make white phosphorus, which actually has a purpose in brass. This is actually a useful recipe. Highly useful recipe. But when you think about how this process is in a Mark IV powder mixer, you're using one sand every 1.33 seconds in Advanced Glass Smelting 3. Woohoo! Less than 1 per second. You're gonna have like 7 of these powder mixers. 8 of them. Maybe at very large scale glass, but what do you really use glass for? Fiberglass for circuits later on. That's the primary thing, but do you really need actual glass? Actual glass, not a lot of it. And by the time you get to fiberglass, it's like, well, there's actually these other things called Advanced Glass Melting 2 and Advanced Glass Melting 1 that are a bit easier because sodium sulfate and carbonate are not particularly easy, and it's a consumer of lime. So by the time we get to advanced glass melting, maybe it would be worth it. But then the unburnt clay bricks, what we're using it for now, it's 2 per 8 seconds. So, and I need lime. I need lime. Hey. Lime. Beautiful. Glorious lime. But I need a consistent production of lime, and I'm not going to bother piping that stuff down at the moment. I need some lime, which will mean I will need a bunch of stone bricks that I just plopped down. If you were wondering how to pick up stone bricks when you don't have stone bricks or the like, that's exactly how you do it. I apparently need to pick up even more. That should be enough. And this should feed in pretty easily. Probably gonna want 2 there, and I will need fuel, and I will need to be sending this out, just like I will need to be sending this out. What side do you default to? Well, I'm gonna tell you, you're gonna do it on the you're gonna send out on the inside. And then, oh, here's the best part about this whole process. Each of these steps produces mud. What do you use mud for? Well, if you have a liquefier, you can actually convert it back into viscous mud water. Alternatively, there is a recipe to convert it into landfill. It's a way of getting a non-zero amount of landfill, but I prefer just shooting it back in. And I said shooting. I said shooting it back in. And that should be that. Oh, and it also needs water. So. Huzzah! Don't you love this washing process? It is just glorious. Oh, and for the record, just an FYI, there is also something that can go right there, and it's called washing for geodes, and it pulls off of this initial step. And this is the most important washing process. This is the most important washing process. Because it is your infinite source of geodes. Your source of geodes at scale. That's how I should put that, I suppose. How the hell am I going to get water in? Guess I'm gonna do it like this. Stick it on the bus in the process. So you are making lime. And you are pooping out the lime. You are going to poop out the clay. Next up in this process is the assembling machine, which will make unburnt clay bricks. It will consume 2 sand, 2 lime, and 4 clay. Per craft. Actually, that one. And this will make unburnt clay bricks at 1 per second. Adjusted by crafting speed. Then you furnace it. Now, I could use regular stone furnaces. For the purposes of this, I prefer upgradable metal mixing furnaces, but I'm just gonna do this way. I should not do those there. Build for scale, even if you aren't going to scale. Okay, and then this, I usually feed this into a warehouse or a silo and just treat it like my mall, just for clay bricks. Because the only thing that these clay bricks are actually going to be used for is machines. They're only going to be used for machines. They don't really have any other purpose besides machines. I may as well grab more of those. And all of those. Now, let's get... Should I just put this line of water on the belt, or should I put a line of something fresh? I think I should put a completely fresh line of water down. So that I have access to the full throughput of production. Now, the pumps, the offshore pumps, as they are right now, are fine. They are actually designed pretty well for how fluid moves, for the actual fluid mechanics of the game. They're pretty good because it's pretty nice to well, when you use up the full 1200 per second, the pipes can take that. The pipes can handle 1200 per second of consumption of the water pretty much exhaustively, almost regardless of the distance that the fluid is traveling. The way that the pressure system works is that the distance doesn't really matter all that much if all you're dealing with is the output of one offshore pump. The moment you add a second offshore pump into the mix at the start of the chain, everything goes haywire and goes to hell. And that's when you have to start having chains of pumps to get the pressure that you need in the pipes. So the solution I always end up with is, you know, just don't deal with it and run like separate lines. Just run the separate lines. It's okay. This is going to be... This better be the spacing. Yeah, that's the spacing. Nope. Oh, that's a little inconvenient. That's inconvenient there, buddy. Yeah, I'll leave it like that. Then I have to bring this up from here. And that is that. That took a lot longer than I would have liked it to take, but we now have our inputs going. I just now need to wire up. Give me all of the electric poles, please. Must have them all. Also, I need... I'm apparently not researching anything at the moment. I don't know how that ended up happening, and I haven't looked up into that corner at all this entire time. So, I need... This will probably be coke in these two. This is why I need my walkway line. Okay, how far back is... I never did send the coke or the carbon to the line, did I? Maybe I'll put carbon in. Oh, this is gonna be fun. Please tell me I don't have anything on the other side of this. Good. Actually, I have 2 lanes there that I could use for even more coal. It'll be glorious. Remember what I said about having to pipe backwards our wonderful things? Oh, I could also do that type of charcoal. That's a new thing. Then do carbon from charcoal. Interesting. But part of the whole point of wood processing is to get to here, because this is fuel value 20 megajoules, and you sort of want to have really good fuel values. Higher fuel values means less often of having to feed your boilers. Which is always a good thing. You know what? Let's do it this way. Let's put it here. There is also a recipe for coke pellets that have an increased fuel value, but I don't really like using them all that much. The wooden bricks are actually a net positive for the energy that you put in versus the energy that is output when using them to fuel energy production. So you end up with free, infinite fuel. Do I really want to do this with carbon? Actually, no. So I'm going to... Yes, wood bricks. Thank you. I'm gonna do this way. You've gone up, and... maybe I should actually research my long-reach techs. That would be handy. Or have I done that already? I forget. This will very likely just be another line of coal anyway, so I probably could just do that. But nah. Not gonna do it! Also... I'm forgetting the important things. Run you backwards. Because you need to be run backwards along with the coke. Not going to finish doing this process now, but it is a process that must be completed at some point nonetheless. Because they will need to feed into our metallurgy lines. Yeah, long reach, that'd be handy. You know, the whole thing that I purposefully fixed. You know, it would probably be handy to have that moved. Alright. Yeah, this is all fine. It would probably be handy to have... Alright, where's the other... you? That, there, that down, that... all the way... where am I putting this one? Probably just right next on this line. Yeah, it'll be... ah! Tech! Thingies! Logistic trash slots would be nice. Let's get some of those. That way, that way. Beautiful basic electronic boards. Beautiful BEBs. My BEBs. Hey, give me more. Let there be more trash slots. So the way these work is I can just say goodbye to stuff. They're basically extra inventory at the moment. Okay, what's the... oh, right. It's always going to be water, isn't it? Our issues will always be water. I am actually just going to jump the water over there. That way. Hey, it would be nice to have some lights, right? That gets this going, and then... oh, hey, look, it's solar energy. Ugh. Now, the space extension mod will actually require a heck of a lot of production of those, of solar panels, of Mark III solar panels. for that matter. So, yeah, it'll be very important that we start automating the vast majority of things. Let's see, I need these. I need whatever's been made of you. And I need the steel. Let there be steel. A, make some of those. But B, I need stone bricks. Oh boy. Oh boy. That's a hike. I'm going to need to make a couple of engines, at minimum a couple. Just so that I can have a car. I want a car, and I want a few silos. A few. While I'm here, may as well. The reason why I don't want to stop siphoning off is because if I start letting this go all the way down the belts, eventually it will back up, and it will back up all the way, and then these furnaces will fill up, and then the stone will start backing up, and the stone will start backing up, and then start backing up, and start choking the continued output of these and these up here, all of this, and it will completely cripple the production of plates, iron and copper and tin. So it is incredibly important that you do things with that crushed stone and that slag. And if you are making rocks out of it, make sure that you have something to do with the rocks. Because technically, at the moment, by making stone bricks, I am merely buying time until those chests fill up. It is merely buying time. Give me my silos on my hotbar. Thanks. So I decided that I wanted to build some loaders. This will be the first time I use a loader in this. I forgot to have the settings set in the startup settings that makes the icons huge, but anyway, clay bricks! Why do you not... Oh, right! You also produce carbon dioxide. That's right, which means you need a flare stack. Because I don't have any current use for carbon dioxide. For reference, carbon dioxide gas is used in reverse water gas shift to make carbon monoxide and purified water. It is used in urea synthesis from ammonia and carbon dioxide. I will actually be doing that later. I will be making urea. In fact, I will be making a lot of urea, and I will be making absolute crap tons of ammonia gas. Catalytic synthesis of methanol. That will also be done. I will be definitely doing this one to help out with everything that needs methanol, which plastic is one of those. Oh yeah, advanced aluminum smelting 3. Yeah, alumina. Alumina needs carbon dioxide. That will be another big thing that will need carbon dioxide. Fortunately enough, carbon dioxide is incredibly simple to make because it is made by coal directly. It's coal in, CO2 out from a liquefier. So, you can see I'm making a ton of crap here. I have the option, I can do... Where are my machines? Give me my machines. I should be automating the production of my machines. In fact, let's just say I will now only be doing the assembling machine 2s. So let's go ahead and copy this. I'll copy this guy, but this guy will be different. Because it's gonna drop that way. And then these... Yeah, they can, They just need one of those and they'll be fine. And then just... Oops, that's not good. Yeah. That's how that's handled. You there. Congratulations, we just doubled our production of clay bricks. We currently have 118. They stack to 1,000. Imagine a warehouse, well, a silo for one. All these squares filled with 1,000 clay bricks, and that's about accurate. That is accurate. Oh, and I am now noticing my error, shall we say. Well, I need that there. My error being, hey, shouldn't all of this be oriented that-a-way? And be, like, right there? So, sort of like, you know, that? That would save some actual space? Maybe just, you know, jump that. Don't think I can with yellows, though. Okay, so that is clay bricks. Plenty of clay bricks being produced. I needed the clay bricks for the filters and crystallizers here, yes. That is what I needed them for. Very, very specifically. I can officially now, finally, after 4 full streams, this is still not right. Ugh, behind me. But anyway, after 4 full streams of gameplay, of actual gameplay, approximately 2.5 hours a stream, after 10 hours recorded of time played. Though it's a little bit off because I think it does tick up if your game speed is at 200%. I think that this does tick up twice as fast. But after recording 10 hours of time played, it is finally time to set up the Jivolite and set up our individual iron ore sorting. It is that time. Speaking of it being that time, it is 3 minutes to 2, which means it is time now to review the day's happenings and end off the stream for the day. So, what did we do? Dealt with a power crisis, for one. We had insufficient coal production for what we were consuming, and that ended up causing power to go out. So, upgraded power a fair bit, little bit, added some Mark II engines and boilers into the mix. That's probably helping. Set up after that the resin and the resin line here, and then the lead got shot over with the tin to start making some solder, then started making coke and carbon right next door, so coke and carbon was next, then some tinned copper wire to make our basic electronic boards, which I am loving that we made it this far to basic electronic boards because so many machines needed them. Then before getting into the washing, we did also just get through washing to get into the clay brick production. That is the current use of our washing. We also got some sulfuric acid being produced. Now, as you can see, I am fully backed up for the lead, which means that eventually I will run out and be limited here. I also reoriented the electrolyzer and had access to the layer stacks, so finally, the hydrogen is being eliminated and the steel is fully automated in its production. So, steel is now fully automated. And I am now technically able to transition away from this crap of furnace lines and into full Angel's metallurgy, smelting, and casting processes, which that's going to be rather fun to set all that up. I'm going to need lots of machines and lots of steel going into it. But, yeah, everything is now prepared to do individual ore sorting. I will be next time setting up our mineral catalyst production, as well as mining and crushing Jivolite, and yeah, just getting all of that done. Setting up our electrolyzer line to start doing that. Maybe start voiding some of the crushed stone that is produced from all of this. But otherwise, until next time, this has been Otaku Showboat. Oof. So much has been done today, so much will be done next time. Tomorrow will be vanilla. Tomorrow will be vanilla. So, I would like to thank you all for watching, and I will be back tomorrow to play more of the vanilla campaign that I started last week after point 35 broke everything. And we shall see if they continue to break things going forward. I will see you all then.